Welcome back to the Trip Raider, your no-nonsense travel channel. Grab some popcorn and a blanket as we explore some of the most underrated, haunted ghost towns in the U.S. Now, these aren't your typical tourist traps. These are places where history, mystery, and a little bit of fear all collide. If you've ever wanted to walk through the eerie remains of once thriving towns, then stick around, because today we're counting down the top 10 haunted U.S. ghost towns that you might not have heard of until now. Trust me, you're going to want to visit these if you dare. Let's get started. First up, we're heading to Rhyolite, Nevada. You've probably heard of Nevada ghost towns, but Rhyolite stands out for its incredibly well-preserved ruins. This town was once a bustling gold mining town in the early 1900s, but when the gold dried up, so did Rhyolite. Today, it's said to be haunted by former residents who couldn't let go of their fortune-seeking dreams. Visitors have reported seeing strange lights and hearing whispers carried on the desert wind. It's spooky, but the desert backdrop is breathtaking, so it's worth a visit even if you're a bit of a scaredy cat. I'd rate Rhyolite an 8 out of 10 for sheer ambience and ghostly potential. Cahaba, Alabama. Now, this one has a heavy, eerie feeling, and for good reason. Cahaba was Alabama's first state capital before it was abandoned due to frequent flooding. Today, it's an archaeological park, but visitors swear that the spirits of former residents still linger in the mist that rises from the nearby Cahaba River. It's got all the creepy vibes you'd expect from a southern ghost town. Plus, the ruins of old buildings and graveyards really amp up the atmosphere. Locals say if you listen closely, you can still hear the bells of the long-gone town ringing through the trees. Cahaba gets a solid 8.5 out of 10 for its mix of history and hauntings. Number 8, we've got Bodie, California. This is a bit more well-known, but still feels surprisingly untouched by the mainstream ghost town tours. Bodie was a gold rush town that saw its peak in the late 1800s. What makes Bodie stand out is how well-preserved it is. It's like the residents just up and left one day, leaving everything behind. The ghost stories here are chilling, with visitors reporting encounters with former residents, including a ghostly miner seen wandering near the old saloon. One unique thing about Bodie, it has a curse attached to it. They say if you take anything from the town, even a rock, you'll be cursed with bad luck until it's returned. Bodie ranks 9 out of 10. The curse alone adds an extra spooky layer. Let's visit Garnet, Montana. This hidden gem is tucked away in the Montana mountains, and it's one of the best preserved ghost towns in the state. Garnet was a bustling mining town in the 1890s, and today it's frozen in time, perfect for ghost hunters. Visitors have reported hearing phantom piano music coming from the empty saloons and seeing ghostly figures in the windows of the old hotel. The cool thing about Garnet is that it's less touristy, so you can really feel the eerie isolation when you're there, especially in the fall when the mountains are quiet and covered in golden leaves. I'd give Garnet a 7.5 out of 10 for its quiet but creepy vibe. Number 6. Heading back to the desert, we have Ruby, Arizona. Ruby is one of the best preserved ghost towns in Arizona, but it's also one of the most tragic. The town was the site of several violent murders in the early 1900s, and locals believe those restless spirits still haunt the area. The abandoned mine, in particular, is a hotspot for paranormal activity. People have reported hearing strange noises and seeing ghostly figures near the old mining shafts. What makes Ruby stand out is the desolation. There's something about the silence of the desert that amplifies the creepiness here. Ruby gets a 7 out of 10. The isolation and tragic history make it a memorable visit. Next, let's talk about Thurmond, West Virginia. Tucked away in the Appalachian Mountains, Thurmond was once a bustling coal town, but today it's nearly abandoned. The railroads still pass through, but the town is almost completely deserted. Visitors have reported seeing ghostly apparitions of railroad workers and hearing phantom train whistles in the dead of night. The Appalachian setting adds a layer of mystery to this place, with dense forests surrounding the town, giving you the feeling of being completely cut off from the world. Thurmond gets 8 out of 10 for its isolation and haunted railway legends. Let's head down to Goldfield, Nevada. Goldfield was once the largest city in Nevada during the early 1900s, and it's seen its fair share of Wild West violence. Today, it's a quiet ghost town, but many visitors claim that the spirits of cowboys and miners still roam the streets. The Goldfield Hotel is one of the most haunted spots in town. People have reported seeing the ghost of a woman who was allegedly murdered there, as well as poltergeist activity. Goldfield's wild history and spooky legends earn it a 7.5 out of 10 on the haunted scale. Number 3, St. Elmo, Colorado. St. Elmo was once a booming mining town, But today, it's one of the best preserved ghost towns in the Rockies. What makes St. Elmo spooky is the legend of Annabelle Stark, the daughter of a local innkeeper who became a recluse and is said to still haunt the town today. Visitors have reported seeing her ghost in the windows of the buildings, and some say they've even heard her voice echoing through the mountains. St. Elmo gets an 8.5 out of 10 for its beautiful setting and haunting backstory. For a more unusual haunt, let's check out Gilman, Colorado. This abandoned mining town was shut down by the government in the 1980s due to toxic contamination, but that hasn't stopped curious explorers from visiting. The eerie silence of the place, combined with the abandoned homes and buildings, gives it an apocalyptic feel. People say they've heard strange noises and seen ghostly figures wandering the streets at night. Gilman's toxic history and desolate atmosphere make it a 7 out of 10. The danger factor adds an extra thrill to the experience. Finally, the most haunted ghost town on our list, Jerome, Arizona. Known as the wickedest town in the West, Jerome has a history filled with mining, crime, and plenty of ghost stories. The town is built on a hill, and its most famous haunt is the Jerome Grand Hotel, which was once a hospital. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied voices, seeing shadowy figures, and feeling cold spots throughout the hotel. Jerome's ghostly reputation is no joke. This town fully embraces its haunted history, with ghost tours and spooky attractions at every corner. Jerome gets a 10 out of 10 for its spine-chilling history and full-on haunted experience. So there you have it. The top 10 underrated haunted U.S. ghost towns that you absolutely need to visit if you're in the mood for some spooky adventures this fall. Each town has its own unique history and ghostly legends, making them perfect for a haunted road trip. If you've been to any of these places, or if you plan on visiting, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about your experiences. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the Trip Raider for more no-nonsense travel tips. Until next time, happy haunting!